Good afternoon, family. Today I will talk about the phenomenon of the inflation that occurs in this time with the purpose understand more and taking measures to control. First, I will definition inflation, how the increase constantly of the prices of the goods and service in a country in a long time. There are two kinds of inflation. Inflation for supply, inflation for demand. The actual inflation is for supply. It's a clearly example of inflation of cost for the energy that occur when the nation have international problems with the supply, international problems with the supply with the countries that offer the gas and the electricity. This fight and conflict in the areas of petroleum reduce the amount of fuel available and increase the price. The factories and trucks need special energy to work, obligate to increase the price to the consumer. A real example to easily understand is we imagine a farm that produces tomatoes and their transportation stay by the other state, but the cost of the gasoline increased in $200 for delivery to the supermarket. Then the supermarket increased 10 cents the cost of the pound of the tomatoes. For the family, if we multiply this increase of 10 cents of every price of the produce of the basic basket, the family without use the car, their life is more expensive. This inflation in 2023 really started in 2020 with the crisis of the COVID-19. The COVID-19 increased the inflation of the world because break down the supply chain, closing the ports and factories. Other issue was the printer of money to the economics and help for the families. This inflation during the COVID-19 was a kind of combination for inflation of supply and inflation of demand. Inflation for supply during the COVID-19. Why? When the factories and parts closed for the regulation of the healthy, this increased the price of the products. The energy was expensive and increased more when the economies were opened again or reopening. Inflation for demand during the COVID-19. The governments give money to the family and was more money in the economic for spend. Printed more money was more fast than the production of the goods and service. Then the inflation increased because there is more money in back of the same products. This made to increase the price to get a balance. Austerity and shrinkage. Austerity and shrinkflation. Austerity and shrinkflation are other two phenomenal economic that happened during the COVID-19. Austerity, when the people spend less in travels and restaurants and buy more physical products and products scarcer in the market. The phenomenon of the shrinkflation. This is the reduction, the size and weight or quality of a product, maintain or increase the price of the product. This phenomenon persisted in the 2026, Who know in the supermarket notice that the little size of chicken or cookies is more expensive and less quantity. Then before this half, the objective of the shrinkflation is it has an objective that is decrease the real increase in the cost to the family. The shrinkflation is legal if there is the amount and size in the package of the products. The reopening quickly made to increase the demand of these goods and service. Basic. The demand went up because the factories not renovating the inventories so fast. How control the inflation for supply that is affected in 2026? There are these bases in the history. First, increase the production, political, agricultural, and business production, goods and service. Second, decrease the cost of the business of factories, reduction the price for the inputs and gas. Third, subsidize basic more business enter in the market and increase the production. I am not listening nothing about strategies or politics to control the inflation for supply. What happened? Nobody know what to do and wait for a miracle. But not listen about suicide or the strategy, but we listen about the government want a new domination of the money, the new bill of $250. In my opinion, this will replace the little bill of $100. There is more capacity of buy for the families for a bill more bigger, and if the supply is not enough in front of the third age, the families will pay the more price for the goods or service. It is true, when a good or service is abundant in economics, the price goes down. This happens also with the money. Other of my question is, we are taking control of the supply, inflation of supply. We are ready for take control of the combination of supply and demand? I don't think so. A lot of the big global happen. A lot of the big global happen. To the pandemic from naval blockade, make than the system be fragile. The products no arrive for the market just when is needed. We need to understand that we are going back to the process of 2019. No, it's only a maximum of prices. It's a transition economical. Understand that this inflation arrive for a stay for longer is the first step for a stop in seeing in miracles and start in take measures of real protection. A scenario more wish is come back to the third world setup. Is come back to the third world economic to the agricultural and goods and service with a low price. But now there is a credibility how in the production of the how in the production of the Occidental world with more expensive prices and better products. The next month, the prices will be seen or more up, but the saving of the family will be less. Taking personal measure of protection, my personal measure of protection. I will share how personal take control of the spend. First, check to the little spend every week. The idea no is inversion. The idea is say in a little expense $100 or $200 per month. Second, in the take control in the fixed expense, electricity, insurance, telephone. Electricity, I prefer little houses. Insurance, I am no more a driver. I don't need a car. My husband is retired. And telephone, we got the minimum of Infinity for $20. Mortgage. Mortgage is other idea. I want to support the person for call the bank and read him the mortgage before than be late. When the inflation increase, the bank increase the kind of the interest rate. This finish the saving of the person and less consumption. Today, there is a million of families that see how the savings evaporate and the mortgage take $300 or more. In my case, I had a mortgage fixed rate that is more difficult to refinanciation, but the interest is same or 3% or less. Now the interest rate is 6.8%. Why increment the government? Why increment the taxes and the mortgage in states here like to Florida, New Jersey, and Delaware and Maryland? Yeah, they increase because it's for take the money for the families. Take the money for the families. Okay, this is all. If you refresh your knowledge about the inflation and you see if it's a serious and actual and important concept, buy me a coffee. This will help me with my nervous that I need be challenger. See you next.